Space startup news this week. First off, the exploration company ships completed Mission Possible capsule. The exploration company, a space startup building cargo transport vehicles for low Earth orbit and beyond, has shipped its first subscale demonstrator, dubbed Mission Possible. It's scheduled to launch in June on the Transporter 14 mission on top of a Falcon 9 rocket. This is a test for its full-scale vehicle called Nyx. This vehicle could be making logistic runs to the ISS or future commercial space stations once operational. The subscale demonstrator is 2.5 meters in diameter, while the full Nyx spacecraft will be approximately 4 meters in diameter. While the launch is not the full-size vehicle, it is still a commercial mission as there are customer payloads on board. In a post on LinkedIn, the exploration company provided an update stating that the Mission Possible vehicle has completed its pre-shipment review and will be heading off to the US soon. The company tempered expectations ahead of the launch, stating that the demonstrator could fail, although they have done everything possible to maximize the chances of success. They previously launched an even smaller test vehicle on the first flight of Ariane 6. Unfortunately, due to a fault on the upper stage, the deorbit burn did not occur, leaving their demo vehicle on the upper stage stranded in orbit. Okay, on to our next story on a lunar terrain vehicle for the Artemis mission. Moon RACER achieves autonomous navigation milestone. Intuitive Machines have tested their lunar terrain vehicle, called Moon RACER, in a simulated lunar landscape using the autonomous driving capability of the vehicle. This test came a year after the company received a contract from NASA to work on a lunar terrain vehicle to be used on Artemis missions. They are one of 3 companies being evaluated by NASA. Autonomous driving means the vehicle can be used on the moon even when no astronauts are present. The company will be able to sell use of the vehicle to other customers when the vehicle is not in use by NASA. Intuitive Machines LTV lead Gary Specketh said, "There are long stretches when astronauts are not present on the moon, and we believe autonomous driving is key to continuous science research and commercial activity. This capability allows the vehicle to work for other customers to conduct surveys, transport cargo, scout terrain, and collect valuable data between Artemis missions, increasing the value of every lunar mission, even when no one is around." Unquote. The Moon RACER vehicle uses a LiDAR package, that is a laser that can detect distances to objects, to help build up a 3D model of the environment to help with navigation. The laser emits light pulses, and by analysing the return time, can build a point cloud consisting of millions of dots that enable the vehicle to safely move around the environment. Since receiving the contract for NASA in April 2024, Intuitive Machines has completed a static, full-scale mock-up, completed safety and crew assessment checks with veteran Apollo astronauts. 6 months ago, Moon RACER was tested at the Meteor Crater National Landmark. This site was used to simulate lunar conditions to stress test the vehicle. Human-in-the-loop trials followed in December 2024 at NASA's Johnson Space Center, where astronauts kitted out in fully pressurized suits assessed the Moon RACER's controls and safety systems. NASA is expected to announce its decision on which of the 3 lunar terrain vehicles under consideration will be selected for a demonstration mission on the moon by the end of 2025. Okay, on to our next news story about 2 companies teaming up for moon missions. Redwire and ispace US to collaborate on lunar missions. Redwire, a leader in space infrastructure, and the US Office of ispace, a Japanese lunar lander company, this week announced they are teaming up on future lunar missions. NASA, under the Artemis program, is ramping up its lunar missions prior to sending back astronauts to the moon's surface. The companies are hoping to tap into the renewed interest for lunar missions from both NASA, other space agencies, and private commercial companies. The NASA CLPS Awards have a maximum contract value of $2.6 billion through 2028. NASA created the Commercial Lunar Payload System program to support the creation of a lunar economy through commercial deliveries of NASA science payloads to help prepare for crewed missions to the moon as part of the Artemis program. Redwire is one of 14 prime contractors selected for the CLPS Awards, and together with the ispace US, will be pursuing future missions using the proven ispace lunar lander. The ispace Apex lunar lander is a next-generation lander updated to include lessons learned from the Hakuta R lunar exploration program, including the Mission 1 Series 1 lander and the Mission 2 Resilience lander that's expected to land on the Moon in June 2025. The Apex lander is a multi-purpose platform that delivers customer payloads to the lunar surface or to lunar orbit. ispace has said that until now, only NASA has been large enough to act as an anchor customer for lunar missions. ispace thinks that this is beginning to change, with demand signals suggesting truly commercial missions may be on the horizon. More on that later in this video. Mike Gold from Redwire said about this agreement, "Redwire is proud to partner with ispace US to pursue upcoming commercial lunar exploration and science missions and deliver critical lunar infrastructure. The combination of Redwire's advanced digital engineering, integration and testing, and lunar subsystems with ispace's proven lunar landing platform and mission operations creates a world-class team to support the future of humanity's operations on the lunar surface and beyond." Unquote. "We share a vision for a cislunar economy and being able to put infrastructure on the Moon," said Ron Garan, chairman of ispace US. "Government in the near and possibly mid-future is going to remain important relative to supporting these activities," Mike Gold said. But he added, "Redwire has seen growing interest from companies interested in lunar missions for resources and other applications. We are seeing new customers that we weren't seeing a few years ago. This partnership is not just about clips," he said, "it's about building a new economy." Unquote. Okay, on to our next story on a lunar resources company that you may have heard of if you have followed this channel for a while. Interlune secures first commercial customer for lunar-derived Helium-3. Interlune, a US startup focusing on mining Helium-3 from the Moon for commercial use on Earth, has signed a landmark agreement with Maybell Quantum Industries, its first commercial customer. The deal commits Interlune to supply thousands of litres of Helium-3 annually from 2029 to 2035. In addition, Interlune will provide 3 litres of Helium-3 to the US Department of Energy by April 2029 under a separate contract. On Earth, Helium-3 is sourced from the decay of tritium in decommissioned nuclear warheads. The US has had a chronic shortage of Helium-3 for over a decade. With a market price of $30,000 to $50,000 per gram, even small quantities returned to Earth can be sold for millions of dollars, making lunar extraction economically viable. The Department of Energy is only asking for 3 litres, which is less than 1 gram of Helium-3, so Interlune expects that its pilot plant will be able to provide that amount. Still, even this small amount requires excavation and processing, since Helium-3 is only present in a few parts per billion in the lunar soil. Unlike the type of helium used in balloons, Helium-3 is exceptionally rare on Earth, but available on the Moon's surface. This is because, unlike the Earth, which is protected by a powerful magnetic field, the Moon is exposed to the solar wind that bathes its surface in ionized particles, including Helium-3. Billions of years of exposure to the solar wind has resulted in millions of tons of Helium-3 buried in the topsoil of the lunar surface. Interlune plans to excavate, sort, extract, and separate Helium-3 from lunar soil to produce commercially viable amounts of Helium-3. Their first commercial customer, Maybell Quantum, believes the era of lunar-sourced Helium-3 isn't so far off. They need Helium-3 for their company's special refrigerators that cool quantum devices to near absolute zero temperatures. Maybell Quantum is a quantum infrastructure company. They build state-of-the-art dilution refrigerators, which requires the use of a special refrigerant that includes Helium-3. In order to continue to build these devices, a constant supply of Helium-3 is required. As the number of quantum computers grow, it will require orders of magnitude more Helium-3 than is used today. With no way of growing Earth's supply, the only option is to source it off-world. Given how close the Moon is, and with Helium-3 already having been identified, it's just a matter of doing the engineering to extract it and return it to Earth. Speaking of engineering, Interlune also announced their partnership with Vermeer, a company that makes excavator equipment. A prototype of the Interlune excavator is currently being tested in Iowa. Interlune's harvester is smaller, lighter, and requires less power than other industry concepts, making it less expensive to transport to the Moon and operate once it's there. The full-scale prototype of the Interlune excavator can ingest 100 metric tons of moon dirt, or regolith, per hour and return it to the surface in a continuous motion. The excavator is the first product resulting from this joint development agreement. The companies will continue to explore other novel equipment and technology for use in space and on Earth. Gary Lai, Interlune co-founder and CTO, said this about their partnership with Vermeer. The high-rate excavation needed to harvest helium-3 from the moon in large quantities has never been attempted before, let alone with high efficiency. Vermeer's response to such an ambitious assignment was to move fast. We've been very pleased with the results of the test program to date and look forward to the next phase of development, unquote. The excavator prototype and partnership agreement with Vermeer marks a key milestone in developing the Interlune harvesting system. Interlune is actively testing other technology components, including several tests of its sorting and extraction devices in simulated lunar gravity on parabolic flights over the last year. Interlune aims to be the first company to commercialize natural resources from space, starting with helium-3 from the moon, which it will sell to commercial and government customers. For more info on Interlune, check out my dedicated video on them. Also this week I reported on a rival of Interlune, Magna Petra, who are also planning to harvest helium-3 from the moon. Exciting times in lunar resource mining. What do you think about helium-3 mining on the moon? How realistic do you think Interlune's plans are? Leave your thoughts in the comments section below. Okay, that's a wrap. Thanks for watching. Space News Live is on Saturday evening or Sunday morning, depending where you watch from. I recap the videos I posted this week, answer questions, respond to comments and chat messages, cover any missed news and preview upcoming content. I'd love for you to join if you can. Be sure to like and subscribe so you'll see our upcoming videos. We make videos every week covering the space industry with an emphasis on the smaller space startups that aren't covered so well on other channels. See you soon.